Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy, Skinny Penis. And we finally reached the release of the ultimate gimmick cancer. And supposedly we're in for even more releases of these type of ships in the future, because they're already testing the next round of Demented Cancer. Anyways, the ships Metz, Vyazma, and Oregon, some of the most brain damaged gimmick designs. I mean, it's all of three are just copy pasted chips to a tier above and a bunch of gimmicks slapped on top of them. Guess that is the future of new content. Shout out, or not shout out, but like many thanks to Orca and Mr. Silent Treatment for immediately enabling me to play these ships. I personally would not spend on those. I would also advise people to not spend on those. I mean, maybe as a content creator, I would have or should have spent just to cover them. But as a normal player, you would spend 70 bucks to unlock all three ships for a temporary ship. I mean, you have it for 5 patches, I think. Then they go away. But yeah, I mean, you spend money on something that's gone. Technically, you're just buying the ability to play extremely unbalanced ships. Don't let wargaming fool you. These ships are not balanced. So yeah, Vyazma. Probably the worst offender out of the 3 ones we got now, because Oregon actually, or most of them did get nerfed heavily. They received 3 nerfs, so like the original versions must have been hilariously broken. But yeah, this one here is 3 times nerfed, and Oregon is also, it's really fucking nuts. It's also close range with the burst, definitely broken. Also the heals in general and the speed. Like, I mean, it's a Georgia on tier 10 with extra gimmicks. But this one here, for its class and the gameplay, is by far the worst. The Borodildo, up tiered. So you keep the Borodildo guns, which is, I think, technically or basically Slava guns. 406mm, so you get 27mm overmatch on a tier 9 cruiser. Which means you overmatch basically your entire own class on the same tier and below. I mean, you even overmatch a lot of tier 10 and even super cruisers. But specifically on your own tier, any heavy cruiser is coded in 27 armor. That's like what tier 9 cruisers are. Like 27 coded 0 armor shit sticks. And this ship here actually gets the overmatch for this, which is wild, because you're taking up a cruiser slot while you retain overmatch against every other cruiser. Pretty stupid. But yeah, what is the gimmick? Well, I mean, you start with half HP or less, which gives you extra dispersion or better dispersion and even better reload. So that's the extra adrenaline rush, fight or flight or whatever the fuck they call it. And then it gets like an improved heal with fast cooldown, a speed boost and a hydro. To be honest, it's very, very, very fancy to run a Borodildo with a speed boost like that. It's a 15% one and a hydro. It's like, sure, you lose a 12 cam radar, but you're basically, yeah, you get all the cruiser gimmicks on a battleship, hydro and speed boost. It's wild. In this game you can also see, like, I'm not healing in the beginning. I'm never healing in these ships in the beginning. I basically heal in the first engagement, if at all. I mean, you have to be a bit careful, because, as you can see here, torpedoes are obviously a problem if you eat them or too much damage, and obviously the carrier is immediately focusing me. So yeah, technically CVs are a really good way of countering these boats if they decide to not heal, just because you spot them so everyone can shoot them, and then you also bring a lot of additional damage. A lot of CVs can deal a lot of damage to those ships. As you saw, he double sit me. The second drop, obviously, I got really, really lucky. Otherwise, this game would have been over. So yeah, you gotta be careful there, especially against CVs, if that thing goes for you. Yeah, you gotta probably pre-heal, because carriers are carriers. They're busted. But yeah, is it interesting to play? Not really. I mean, it's funny because it's broken, especially if you get tier 7 or 8 matchmaking. You basically citadel and overmatch everything to shit in a, yeah, supposedly cruiser that has icebreaker. I mean, it's a Stalin hull, you have to remember. Borodino is a Stalin hull, so you have 50 side and deck. Only 25 nose and ass sections, but you get icebreaker. So 25 nose and ass, yeah, sure, but you can't be citadel through your nose. That's not possible. Also here, currently fighting the other demented piece of shit ship, Los Andes, that like never takes citadels from me. You will also see I'll use my special ammo on him, I think once or twice. I still don't get sitzer damage. It's just like wild battleship designs, I guess. So yeah, that's the next thing on these things. They get a burst fire mode if you press F. That immediately reduces your range to 12 kilometers. They lowered it. So the Oregon, for example, only gets 12.5 kilometer burst range now. The last iteration had 13.5, and before that it was even further out. That's definitely limiting the autistic part of the ships a lot, because the burst fire is what makes them brain dead, because the burst fire mode has more DPM than shooting normal. So technically, if you fight people within 12 kilometers on this ship, you should always burst, technically. Like, sometimes you want the shot ready earlier, maybe the case, but yeah, technically you just want to... Yeah, so here, for example, Slava guns, improved ammunition, which gives me more penetration even, and you still don't deal shit to this thing. Like, that's it. Wow. I did a bunch of pens and overpens. His hull was already saturated, so it wasn't even full pen damage. And yeah, he doesn't take a sit. He parks flat broadside and he doesn't take a sit. Also, like, since EU, or like Wargaming version of the game, has a lot of aim bugs, specifically with the bursts, you will see, by the way, this is like, I mean, I guess a lot of ships could one-shot that, but I mean, you have a secure death strike because you have like 12 shells in the air. But yeah, like a lot of bursts end up with the first shot of the burst landing short, and then the second one magically gets a million sits. Most likely courtesy of the shells falling short, because the aiming system is fucking dogshit on this server, and they won't fix it. Instead, they're already testing the next round of experimental cancer. Yeah, so even if you grind them, you take like, I think PQ said like something like 25-30 days until you reach Oregon, because you have to play through, you have to get the mets, then you have to play through the Vyazma, stuff like that. So it takes a long time to actually get to the Oregon. Probably by the end of this patch you have it, and then you can keep it for 4 patches, but you still have to invest a lot of credits. So unless you're like flooding in credits because you have a million games on your account, they're not even like for free in terms of grinding. Like, you can either spend dupes, then you, by the way, bypass the credits as well, or you just spend credits and time and get them that way. But yeah, as you can see, you're permanently nose in with this thing. You're extremely tanky. I mean, I got lucky in the beginning to live, but as you can see, the heals, they have extremely fast cooldown, and they obviously have insane healing, and those heals are nerfed. They're nerfed twice. They nerfed the heal potential, or like the healing of each individual heal once in the past, so these things healed for way more in the beginning. And the last change was that they removed one heal from them. So technically, in testing, it had like an additional heal that healed more as well. While they had longer burst range, the fight or flight mechanic was better in the beginning. It's reduced now, so like the original fight or flight shit, the additional reload and dispersion was better. And they also had faster base reload. So like the first iterations of these things must have been funny as shit. They're still extremely nuts. Probably one of the best tier 9 cruisers, given the fact it's a battleship. As you can see here, the first shot didn't get a single sit. The second one suddenly does like 35-40k. I will get another burst on the other Musashi in a while, and it's going to be the exact same. It's a common thing. But as you can see here, definitely a cruiser. Musashi, you settle it for free. This Musashi now, 11.6 kilometers. You just have a funny burst fire. Look at the reload, it's 24 seconds. 24, that's faster than normal Borodildo reload. Yeah, that's faster than normal Borodildo reload, but you send 2 volleys and it's still faster. So like, yeah, there's some wild fucking shit. Always remember, they tested them like way better even. Like, it's wild how the developers are so incompetent, or they don't play their own game. By the way, here, again, I aim waterline. That was a waterline shot. And, well, that's short. Yes, whatever. Anyways, it's wild that they already come up, or that they come up with these things in the first place. Here I eat an unfortunate sit, whatever, but I mean, you can already see 227k, a bunch of sits. You're kind of the bane of battleships and cruisers, really. you just have such an easy time fisting them, especially low HP. Like my dispersions are really, really good now. I mean, obviously it's a Los Andes, so we don't really deal damage to this. We will never deal damage to this. But yeah. I don't understand it. I really don't. I'm going to obviously cover Oregon as well. Mets, not really. I don't really think Mets is that interesting. I mean, unless you have a secure scenario where you play against tier 8 only, like for example ranked, it's probably extremely nuts. The burst fire, obviously you eradicate battleships and cruisers quite fast. You have the improved ammo, and with less ships you can obviously use your ammo on and have way more impact with it, because you only need to kill 6 other ships. And you also have the heal, like the Mets, the only thing it does well is like it's decently well armored for tier 8, because it gets 30 deck and 27 sides, so a lot of like 380 BBs don't overmatch you unless it snows. Even 406s can't overmatch your deck. So like you're decently tanky, and you obviously also have the super heal on the Mets and like a speed boost. I'm not gonna cover it because like in randoms, well, in randoms, it's a tier 8 ship with very little armor, very long reload. The reload of that thing is like 30 base. Nerfed many times, all 3 of them in reload. I think like Mets originally also had like 6-7 second faster reload base. I shit you not. Also Oregon had like 6-7 second faster reload base. Must have been a wild fucking riot for the testers to abuse that shit. But yeah, this one here, it's kind of like Illinois, but Illinois isn't as insta toxic, I think. I mean, like kind of Illinois and this one don't. They're just demented in different ways. So like here you have a battleship with armor and overmatch put into a cruiser slot, which is stupid, and Illinois is basically just cruiser DPM slapped on a BB tankiness and move and put as a BB. So basically like a cruiser and BB slot. Either one, it's dogshit design, because obviously the game is based on the 3-class system. I mean, the surface ship, we don't talk about subsys EVs because those motherfuckers don't fit in the first place. But yeah, it's based around that system. Therefore, moving these ships around in classes like that is not something that makes sense. I mean, you will also see the fuck, what is it called? Varese, whatever. Varese, probably. It's same patch as all the new bullshit. Like we have the experimentals, the Utrecht, 2 tier 10 subs and shit, released in one patch, and also the tester round started for like new experimental boats. So the Varese is in. That's a new tier 10 cruiser. Probably is going to be the follow-up of the Oregon. It's 112k Michelangelo with slightly better nose armor and shit on tier 10. That gets 12.5 sec base range. And its secondary range increases and its reload increases the lower it is, so it can get up to 15 kilometers secondaries, sap secondaries that reload insanely fast. It obviously also gets improved shells and a burst mode. It's just like they move premium ships fucking up a tier and give it a bunch of gimmicks. Like, what is this for content, bro? Like, like you play Leicester and you see like Lynch, Yangon and Lazarev being such simple designs, like basically no gimmicks at all, really. It's just maybe a speed boost on Lazarev. Yangon has like a super heal, and fucking Lynch has no gimmick at all. It's just like the arcs. It's like such simple designs, and people play them so much. And I always get the feeling like people will play these fucking boats for like a bit, and then they will realize it's boring shit anyways. I mean, it's literally a fucking borrowed dildo with a burst. That's kind of it. I mean, what else can I say? It's like you get tier 7 matchmaking, you go nose in, you walk through. I had such a game on Shatter. Maybe I should have shown that. You basically, actually, maybe I should have shown that. Like tiers 9 to 7 matchmaking. So like basically there was no physical way that the enemy could kill me. Like it was impossible for the enemy to kill me. And there were a fuck ton of cruisers that I just clicked the entire time and overmatch. And I also played against tier 7 BBs. And that's the funniest, right? Like I played against the Colorado. Like you fucking overmatch the entire dumb boat. And you have a stupid burst fire mode that like 20-30Ks that thing. Probably with the improved ammunition, you can even get citadels at these ranges. It's like, holy mother of God, what the fuck are we doing? This is so demented. Like, I think they gave up. They fully gave up. They're just like, just buy it, play it for a bit, and then we move on to the next bullshit we can come up with. Like, it's such weird bullshit. It's fucking wild. Yeah, so like here obviously it's an arms race game. PPs went flat. The other games I had, like there were a lot of really good games. One on Shatter against SZ tier 7/8s was also like 230, 50, 60k, whatever, with like 6 kills or some shit. Because you can just walk. You have a fast improved heal. So a fast cooldown improved heal. So like tier 7s, what the fuck are they gonna do against you? Generally cruisers on tier 7 and 8 or even 9 with their DPM and armor, like what the fuck are they gonna do against you? You have to also remember that they basically they shatter on your entire armor because it's 50 mil. So like they can't even HE spam you properly while you have this improved heal. But yeah, I'm kind of speechless. It's very depressing to see this shit. But yeah, definitely a cruiser design, huh? Like it's much cruiser. 3k base, obviously we played against a lot of tier 10s and 9s only, so got a lot of XP out of this one. Got dicey in the beginning. Like the playstyle of these things is a bit awkward because I think a lot of, let's say, shittier players will pre-heal. Therefore, they just become a, let's say, pretty weak version of this experimental garbage because like the fight or flight mechanic is really just what gives you the insane buff. And also like these ships probably won't pop up as broken in Wargaming's dogshit spreadsheets because they obviously look at the idiotic part of the player base too. This thing is a Stalin hull, it's a Borodildo, like they blow up when they go flat. Georgia actually has a citadel, so Oregon blows up. Mets, same thing, like they have a sit. So therefore idiots will stay low HP and then blow up instant to the first volley that comes their way or something. Or they will just also like not angle properly close range, even though the design is very simple. Like you have 2 turrets in the front, you could just stay angled nose in. I mean, whatever, it's not that hard. Like people will blow up, and then Wargaming is gonna be like, yeah, overall that thing isn't that broken. But they never think about what happens if people with hands get these things. Like, what am I gonna do? I mean, obviously I'm going to abuse the fuck out of it against cruisers, or low tier matchmaking. Like if I get 7 and 8, I'm just gonna fucking walk it in and murder people. Also, you get a hydro, so like I'd rather have the hydro honestly than the radar from the Borodildo, because like I'm just safe against torps while I'm walking it down with a speed boost on that gives me like 39 knots of speed, nearly 38, 39 knots of speed. Pretty wild design. The maneuverability increases a lot with the speed boost. That's great. But yeah, that was it. You basically just shoot AP the entire time, in my opinion. Close range, you always burst. Basically, it's like you saw it on the Utrecht. I come around, I'll burst fire because it's just a better DPM. And yeah, that's it. Gonna cover Oregon next. I'm more speechless and depressed than ever, I guess. And yeah, see you for that video. Hope you liked it.